Welcome to the final day of light season, and we are taking on a Formortis defense here, and we're gonna go with Brigid because Brigid never lets me down. And the reason that I chose this team is not only because of Brigid, but this is kind of my only team, well, one of the two teams that I have this season that has dual strike or some form of triangle attack. So that's what we're going to need for this situation here, because Tacho is far too powerful, man. Tacho got everyone running this defense, and they just don't know how bad it is. Even though he specifically told them that this is a bad defense. But yeah, we got to go up against this. We got to figure this out. I got my dual strike in the back there, so we're going to wait until turn 3 to pop that out. And then we're going to go to town. Guaranteed that Brigid will not let me down. So we're going to do some damage once we get up there. Also, I want to point out that you can run Not's weapon here. It would have actually given you some more stats. Because of the insided support, it really would have helped out for Mortis a little bit more. So there's no problem running her preferential weapon for this setup, her remixed or refined weapon for this setup, unless you were having some problems with the rally, with it giving out stats. I don't remember if it does, like attack and speed. Well, you could have just changed the rally. I don't think it would have mattered that much, but yeah. Breaking some stuff here. Most importantly, gotta break the dual hindrance because we're gonna need it, since we are using the dual button for our dual strike. Probably should think about that for future reference and swap out that dual strike, that triangle attack unit for someone that just gives it, like Catria or Cordelia or Thea. But then also it's good to be able to get into position and then use your triangle attack. So there are benefits both ways in terms of the third turn and which option will help you out best, because in a situation where your team is going to be, further up the pitch, which is what's going to happen here, Thea will spawn, or Thea, Catcher, or Cordelia would spawn. No one would get triangle attack because everyone would be so far up. The solution would have been to have everyone further back and then start moving on turn 3. But then that would have kind of whittled down your turns. You probably wouldn't have had enough turns to continue. And then also everyone wouldn't have been around Catcher in a way that gives you the triangle attack the way that you need it. Whereas with Baby Dual Robin, because they can move, you can then pop the dual button and then get it within a specific space requirement, 7x7, and then have it function in a way that actually suits you a little bit better. The only problem is whether or not he's going to actually get to the space that you need him to be in to activate the dual button without any hindrances. And there you see, now this is probably the best example of what I'm trying to say. If that was Catria, it would have been a problem. I would not have gotten triangle attack until turn 4, or I wouldn't have been able to set up my team in this specific configuration, which is what I'm going to use. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Brigid will fix that. Don't worry about it. This is just because of the first hit damage reduction from Ather. Most importantly, we don't need to kill him. We just need to break that first hit damage reduction, and then we'll be able to actually get going. But yeah, being further up the pitch here would have been a detriment to running like Catria or Cordelia. This is just situational, I guess, is probably the thing that I should point out in terms of which one you want to run. It's probably best to have a team with each of them, just to help you out based on, you don't know what you'll run into. So that's probably something I'll take into consideration for next season as I'm building my teams. But yeah, just got to figure out who to initiate with here. I think we're going to go with Rune, since he is the one that's probably going to heal the most here. I just need to pop the assist here from Lucina, I think? I didn't do that yet, did I? No.
This is challenging.
So yeah, we're going to pop the assist from Lucina, and then Rune should be able to do some damage here, I think. Let's see. And then I got my dances in, and it should all work out fine. Now, Formortis is a really good pick for this type of defensive setup, because I'm just trying to find the right person to initiate with here that won't ruin this entire strategy. Because if I attack from Robin, then I lose 2 units, whereas if I attack with Brigid from right here, or Rune from 1 up, I only lose one action. So I gotta figure out who to do this with so that I don't ruin everything. So yeah, Mortis is a really good choice for this because he ends your turn. Unless you have, Kanto confirm Kanto Stomp, which I don't have on this team, which I guess is another good thing that I could probably include on Baby Dual Robin, because I think I did give that skill to them to avoid a situation like that. But I feel like that's planning for too many specific scenarios. Probably would be better off to go with, gotta turn that on. Probably would have been better off to just go with a C skill that just does more damage, but I can't really think of one right now for mages. Infantry mages that would have really helped me out here, aside from, let's say, Creation Pulse. But yeah, just gonna pop the dance on Brigid, and we're gonna be able to get rid of this for Mortis here. Triandra is, again, fantastic. I am so surprised that I just haven't been able to fit her in as much as I would like. So I'm really just happy that I've been able to use this thing. There we go. There, like I said, Brigid does not disappoint. Although it looks like this one is cutting it pretty close, but she does not disappoint. The thing here, the main problem is that I'm not running like damage reduction piercing. So Brigid is only the only one that has it because of DR halving. But really, what you want against this specific for Mortis, you want full DR piercing. You want Deadeye, you want lethality, and I don't have either one of those on any of my teams. And pretty much all I have is DR halving. Golvek has it, DR halving, and then Lucina, and also Brigid. Those are and I guess, does Rune have DR halving, or does he just do big numbers? I don't know. But yeah, those are the main units that really have, that. And that's the real reason that for Mortis is so chunky here, because I can't pierce his DR. Really, I would have wanted Bernadetta for this. I was able to get Bernadetta to beat for Mortis like this with Deadeye, but it took a little bit of finagling to get the Deadeye to trigger on the force hit. It's actually not the easiest thing in the world, because I actually have a Shez team, but Shez's problem with the lethality is that the lethality procs on the third hit, and that's terrible for Shield Fighter, because you actually need the fourth hit to be the one where you get the full damage reduction piercing. Shez, legendary, doesn't have any DR piercing. So having her lethality hit on the third hit into Shield Fighter is really bad. really, really bad. So I ultimately, I've swapped her to just run Miracle, just to give a little bit more, even if she's missing the kill, at least she won't die. We'll get some debuffs off, and then, she can do something cool. I don't know. But I feel like for now, that might be her best build until I figure out a way to get the lethality from Shez to proc on the fourth hit. Or even for, let's say, Deadeye, a lot of units that are running it, either they're getting it looped with like dual strike or triangle attack, or they're just hitting it on, like for Bernadetta, without the additional stuff that I did, she would hit the Deadeye on the third turn. And then also for, let's say, Brigid here, she hits the Deadeye on the first hit, and then on the second hit, if she's not running triangle attack, which would then translate to the once Deadeye, no special, gets hit, Deadeye again, and then final hit, you got a problem because there's no special. So it's very difficult to finagle the special, to manipulate the special in a way that will allow it to actually hit when you need it to hit, which is the hit that does not have Shield Fighter active. So that's something that I'm probably going to work on in the back end, for like the future. But you're going to have to figure that out on your own. I don't know how to tell you to get it to work. You just got to use someone that has Shield Fighter and test it, and then when you figure it out, you just use that team. But it can be done. It's a bit of special manipulation is all that it is. But from here on, it's pretty much smooth sailing. The biggest problem here is the Kanto control from Not, which is preventing me from going onto that trap, which is now the real trap, which is annoying. But I think I need to get Not out of the way here so that I can Kanto and escape if I need to. Like the only two units left that actually have their Brigid is just so amazing. Like the only two units that are left that have their weapons are, well, I think it's the enemy, well, Not has a silver lance, which I mean, why? And then also Rhea has her weapon because that's where her miracle is. So yeah, this was a really good configuration, and yeah, it's still just not a good defense. I would not like, units hit way too hard.
All right.
Like, even though, don't give your, I don't know how to say this, but units hit way too hard for this particular armor ball configuration to work anymore. There's just too many things that can ruin your day against this. But it's really down to the opponent that you come across. If the opponent doesn't know what they're doing, or they didn't bring the specific team to counter you, because you really need triangle attack for this. If you don't have a triangle attack team, you've automatically lost. Or just a unit that can hit Brave, that can kill everything, which not that many. Maybe Christmas Shez, Bernadetta. That's pretty much it. But yeah. Oh, also, well, I was gonna say Edelgard, but then I remember that Ray is here, so that also doesn't work. But yeah, if it's really down to you have five team slots, one of them has to have triangle attack, which is crazy because that was one of my worst things to come. I would not speak about it. Like, bringing triangle attack on offense, I would like purposely tell people to not do it because it was so annoying to face. It used to be an automatic loss, but now it's a requirement. Like, I don't think you can go into an Ether 8 season without it at this. I think you really need it because you never know, it just might pop up. And I think having that extra slot now, that rune slot, it's probably the best place to put like a Catria or in this case a baby dual Robin, just so that you can get the dual strike. It's actually benefited me twice now this week that I've actually needed to use it, to my surprise. So yeah, I definitely think you need to bring a team with some type of dual strike or brave hitting capability. I was actually watching the stream from Oblivion, and one of the things that they were talking about some stuff. One of the things that I just brought up, because the new Yunaka has Pass, and personally I was like a little bit worried because like Pass is such a powerful skill in terms of just what it means for the game, because it essentially neutralizes Warp Bubble. It makes it not matter, you know. And I was like, they got to be really careful with how much Pass they pass out because if everyone has Pass, then that's not like a great state for the game. But then also, it essentially what Oblivion says was like, essentially it just means that you've gone back to what the game was like before Warp Bubble was actually something that mattered. There was a time when none of this mattered, so he had a point, to be fair.
Give me strength, Uller.
I don't know how I feel about it, but Brigid again here with the big numbers to close out the week. GG's, defense replays later. I'm probably going to put out another video as well, or attach something to this, I don't know.